Good morning. It's time for Two Guys on Sports. I'm Larry Hazer.
I'm Dick Olson. Good morning, Larry.
Good morning, Dick. And we'll start with girls golf because they have the State Girls Golf Championships coming up on Monday and Tuesday. It's the 53rd State Girls Golf Championships, and there are a couple of girls from our area that will be participating in Madison at University Ridge Golf Course. Sarah Chaffee is a Chippewa Falls McDonald Co-op.
Okay.
Yeah, it's Chippewa Falls and McDonald Central are co-oping.
Oh, really?
Yep. And
that's
she's
probably the only sport they do.
Yes, I think so, yes. She's a part of that team, and she was actually the individual medalist at the Toma Sectional. And Carolyn Skinner of Altoona Regis will also be there in Division One. And Mackenzie Holmes and Lexi Ortel of Marshfield did not make it.
No.
They were at the sectional, but did not.
Mackenzie Holmes was at the top of the leaderboard for most of the day, and then she fell off, I believe, on the back nine, and cost her a trip to Madison. So
that happens.
Yes.
That definitely happens. There were some other girls and teams that were involved as well, but did not make it to state. But again, that State Girls Golf Championship is going to be held this coming Monday and Tuesday down at University Ridge Golf Course in Madison. So we wish any of the girls down there and the teams good luck in that.
Yes.
All right, girls volleyball. They're wrapping up the conference seasons, and not just the Clover Belt, but all the other conference seasons are wrapping up as well.
Yeah, this is Thursday night. Tonight is the end of it.
Yeah.
And next week you will have the crossovers, and ending with the conference championship crossover on Thursday night, I believe.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
Yep.
And for once in the East, that is still up in the air. So
for right now, Columbus Catholic did clinch at least a share of the conference title.
But if Loyal was going in there tonight and win, that you could have a three-way tie for first. Because Colby only has one loss too, because Colby defeated Loyal. Excuse me. So it could be interesting when it comes down to it. And I have no idea what a tiebreaker in volleyball would be, Larry. So I would imagine it's probably sets one or something like that. Like that. I don't know. But,
and if it would be that, Columbus Catholic would probably be the
easily,
winner.
I think so too. They win so many matches 3-0 that it's we'll see. And like Colby, they defeated Loyal 3-1. I believe we defeated Neilsville 3-1. So I believe Loyal and Gilman was like 3-1 or 3-2. So it was all the other teams have had to fight to win, where Columbus has kind of had it pretty good to themselves. So.
Yeah, so Loyal is at Columbus Catholic tonight. Gilman is at Colby. Greenwood is at Neilsville tonight, and Spencer is at Owen Withee in the final matches for the regular season.
Yeah, and the Neilsville Warrior girls are at a tournament Saturday at Osseo Fairchild, Larry. So a few schools down there. So going to get some extra time in before the tournament season. So
and Columbus Catholic is at La Crosse Logan.
Yes,
for an invitational.
Yeah, that should be a bit. They're moving up a notch there. I think, because if Logan is there, you're probably going to have Central and Onalaska and a few others. So
one way to get ready for the tournament.
Absolutely, yeah. Schedule yourself up.
You bet. All right. So again, the crossover tournament for the Clover Belt Conference will be next Tuesday for the 2nd through 8th. And then the first place crossover is next Thursday. It'll be at the East sites this year, all the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm just going to talk about the rankings a little bit, Larry. A couple of number ones got knocked off last week. D2, Luxembourg Casco was number one. They fell to number 2. Catholic Memorial, number 1. In D3, Barron is the new number 1, and Cuba City falls to 2. Stratford holding on to 4, and McDonald 5 over there. And then Loyal back to honorable mention in D4, and Regis at D6 is 6th. D4 is 6th, and then Columbus hanging on to 5th in D5. So Gilman an honorable mention. So
there you go. And by the way, McDonald Central did wrap up the Western Clover Belt. So whoever wins the East will have to take on McDonald Central,
and that's going to be a tall tale.
Always is.
And I'll tell you what, they come through. You come through a pretty tough West. Because they had to go against Fall Creek. I'm sure Bloomer was pretty good.
Yep.
And a few others. So
and Regis has improved.
Yeah, and Regis is ranked in the state also.
Right,
so you're pretty battle tested when you come out of that Western Clover Belt. But hopefully, I think this year with the way things are in the East, I think maybe those teams are a little more battle tested too. We'll see.
Yeah. Years past, it has been the West. It's been the West as pretty much mopped up the East and the crossover playoffs. Stratford wrapped up the Marywood South division. They finished there 5-0. And then in the Valley Conference, Marshfield takes that one.
Yep.
In the regular season, they're 7-0. They do have a Valley Conference meet coming up on Saturday at Wausau East, where all the teams play each other.
Yeah, that's kind of a neat idea. That's about the only conference around that does that, where they all get together for a meet like that, and it's kind of cool. So it gets them all ready for the tournament. So.
Yes, it does, indeed. All right, and again, the seeding meetings are going to be 13th through the 17th.
Okay,
13th
so that'll
through
be
15th.
that'll be next week.
Yeah.
Today's the 10th, I believe. So
Yeah. So they'll be next week. They'll be doing the seeding meetings.
and then I'm assuming, I don't know if they'll do it like football and some of the other sports, but the last few years some of these sports have had kind of a TV show.
Oh yeah,
with
right.
The seeding.
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know if they'll do it with volleyball.
Yeah, I did not.
They've done it with football, basketball, wrestling has had it.
Yes.
But I don't know if they do it with volleyball. But it'd be kind of nice if they did. Yeah. So.
All right, cross country. They had a cross country meet. Onalaska Luther had one, and Neilsville. Will Drinka.
Yeah.
Again, finishing in the top 10.
Yeah, Will coming back. He's going to be a force, I think, down here tournament time. But he's started slow this year. He's been a letterman throughout his high school career, but he's really picked up the pace lately, and he's been in the top 10 most of his meets lately. So, which is good. They've got a little time off here now. They don't run until the 19th at the conference meet. So,
Oh, okay.
So, a week from Saturday, they don't run till now. So,
Okay.
So.
All right, there you go. Cross country. That's that season kind of wrapping up as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, because the following week after that, and of course they go right into sectionals.
Yes.
They do not have a regional tournament. They start right off in sectionals, and 1 week is sectionals, and the next week is state. Bang, bang, they're done. So
that's right. Yes. All right, high school football. The big one last Friday. Regis kind of took it to Stanley Boyd.
Yeah,
it was a close game throughout.
Yeah, actually Stanley had an early lead, but after Eau Claire, Regis kind of took control in the second quarter and into the third quarter, and beat them by 10, and put 35 points up, which says a lot. But they held Stanley Boyd to 25, which is pretty darn good these days. So, but of course, Regis is playing Neilsville tonight, and of course, Regis should be a heavy favorite there, and that's their last conference game. So they pretty well have clinched the conference championship. So, and of course, they have beaten Stanley Boyd and Mondovi and Elk Mound. So
nobody else has a chance.
Nobody else really has a chance against them. So
right now, some of these teams are looking at getting playoff spots.
Yeah.
Of course, Elk Mound and Mondovi both need a win,
and they play each other tonight.
They play each other tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night.
They play each other tomorrow night.
So somebody's going to come out of there wanting to be real hungry for the next week.
Was that right? No, wait a minute. Elk Mound is at Stanley Boyd.
Okay.
Elk Mound is at Stanley Boyd.
Oh, okay.
They played each other last week.
Okay.
Elk Mound and Mondovi.
Okay.
And Mondovi won.
Okay.
To make that where they are right now.
Okay. Excuse me, but
that's all right.
Yeah. And Elk Mound has Neilsville the week after,
right?
So you would think they'd be probably favored with the way things are going for the Warriors.
So it could come down to that Elk Mound Neilsville Granton game where they need the win to get in.
Yeah, though I really think, Larry, that the way things are going with the number of schools and stuff, 3 wins might get them in too. Yeah.
Yeah, seeing as where they're coming out of.
Elk Mound got in last year with 3 wins.
Okay.
So I think so. But I think they'll be fine. Durand is at Mondovi tonight, and so I think you can expect the Buffalo to come out of that one, and then they should be qualified for the playoffs, and they should be a solid team in D6. So.
Well, and in Durand, Arkansas, they need a couple of wins to get in, so they're playing for something too. So
and Fall Creek also,
right?
Fall Creek is right there too. And, the Fall Creek is off this week. They got the Spectrum team, so but that gives them a win. So that gives them 3 wins too, I believe. So and I'm not sure where they're at the last week of the season, but.
Yeah, so you're looking at these teams now are fighting for playoff spots. A lot of these teams are.
And 3 wins might get you in, but 4 gets you in. So you're better off shooting for the 4. So.
Yeah, you're right. So. And some of these other conferences as well. You look at the Central Wisconsin Large Conference, and a big one there. It's Stratford and Amherst.
Yeah. Oh, that should be a dandy tonight.
At Stratford.
Yes. So
both teams unbeaten.
Amherst has seemed to struggle lately. I know they struggled against Spencer Columbus. They beat Waiawega Fremont on a last play touchdown, so where Stratford has had no problem with anybody. So I think Stratford at home is probably going to take care of business, though Amherst has had a solid season also. Waiawega Fremont has quietly had a very good season. They're 1 win away from being in the playoffs too, I believe, or 2 wins.
Okay.
No, I think they got a couple of teams in that conference that are 2 wins away, so, but.
Yeah, Waiawega actually, 2-3, and Colby's 2-3 in that conference
and
as well.
I think they have a game.
Colby has Spencer Columbus
tonight,
tomorrow night.
and Waiawega is at Loyal tomorrow night. Excuse me. So,
all right. So Stratford and Amherst going tonight,
Yeah.
and you look at the latest WisSports.net coaches poll, and I tell you, you go from divisions 5, 6, 7, and the 8-player, and there's a lot of local representation.
yes, D5 were pretty loaded. D1, D2, D2. I guess I count Rice Lake because
Sure.
they do play the area teams. D3, Medford at 6. I should say Rice Lake was at 4. D4, D5 though. Stratford has moved up to number 1.
I see that, yes.
Wrightstown took a loss last week to Freedom and dropped all the way to number 6.
Well, that's a tough fall for them.
Yeah,
Usually they only go a couple of places.
I didn't look where Freedom's record was, but I don't think that's. But that moved Amherst up to number 4. Well, and that loss to Regis tumbled Stanley Boyd down from 4 to 7 too. So, but then in D6, Regis pretty much the favorite at number 1 there, but Auburndale holding on at 4, Abbey 5, and Mondovi at 8, and then in D7 you got Edgar number 2. So and they're playing well.
Yes,
so,
they are.
So they're going to be a force in D7.
And the 8-player has Owen Withey. Is just
Yeah. Owen Withey is a juggernaut this year, Larry. 76-0 over Lake Holcomb. They've given up 27 points this season, and that was in 1 game to McDonald. They have shut everybody else out, and I'm assuming they've scored 50 or better every game. So they scored 58 on McDonald. I don't recall what they did on some of the other teams, but
well, they've got number 9 Clayton tomorrow night. So
yeah, that should be interesting. That doesn't fall in their conference,
No.
They odd number of teams. They got a schedule out of the conference, so that's a good one for them to get ready for the playoffs. So Clayton, probably a very athletic team. Seems like their teams are up there. So
yeah.
So,
By the way, Freedom is ranked 5th this week in Division 4.
Okay.
Unbeaten. So
yeah, I didn't really. Yeah, so I guess that's kind of a
That's
a
a
bad
far
loss.
drop.
That's a bad loss for Wrightstown.
I guess.
So-
it drops them kind of far down considering how high up Freedom was
Yes.
in the standings. But
Yeah.
nonetheless, high school football again tomorrow night.
And by the way, the Freedom is the Fighting Irish too. By the way,
Freedom Fighting Irish. Okay.
they were green. By the way, too. I just thought I'd throw that in. So.
Eau Claire North is at Marshfield tomorrow night. You can hear that game on 92.3 WOSQ.
And the Tigers 1 win away.
Yes.
Need a win
Yeah.
to get in the playoffs.
There you go.
They at times they've struggled this year, but they've gotten
Quietly,
themselves.
they're in there.
Back there. They're sitting there at 3 wins, and hopefully they can handle North tomorrow night and get in. So,
Yeah. And Neilsville, Granton, and Regis on 92.7 WPKG tomorrow night. All right, let's get into where are they now before we get into some college sports.
Larry, I am going up to Stanley Boyd.
Okay.
And I'm going to talk about Dusty Spaeth, a 2014 graduate of Stanley Boyd High School. In the fall, Dusty was a 3-year letter winner on the Oriole football team. His sophomore year, Stanley Boyd was 8-4 on the season, qualifying for the WI Division V playoffs, where they lost in Level 3 to Kobe. On offense, Dusty had 1 reception for 36 yards and a touchdown. On defense, he had 26 tackles and 1 pass interception. His junior year, the Orioles were 8-2 on the season, qualifying for the WI D5 playoffs, where they lost in Level 1 to Kobe. On offense, Dusty had 13 pass receptions for 363 yards and 3 touchdowns. On defense, he had 27 tackles and 1 pass interception. He was a first-team selection on the Clover Belt All-Conference team on offense. His senior year, the Orioles were 14-0. They were Clover Belt champs, qualifying for the WI Division V playoffs, where they would make it all the way to the championship game at Camp Randall, where they would defeat Lancaster 21-16 to win the championship. In that game, Dusty would have a pick-6 interception that would clinch the game for the Orioles. On the season, Dusty had 34 receptions for 437 yards and 6 touchdowns. On defense, he had 26 tackles, 9 pass interceptions, and 3 pick-6s. He was a first-team all-conference selection on offense and defense that year. In the winter, Dusty was a 3-year letter winner on the Oriole basketball team. His sophomore year, the Orioles were 10-13, losing to Colfax in the regionals. Dusty averaged 7.6 points per game. His junior year, Stanley Boyd was 3-18, losing to Cadott in the regionals. Dusty averaged 9.3 points per game. His senior year, the Orioles were 3-18, losing to Chautauqua Weyerhaeuser in the regionals. Dusty averaged 9.8 points per game and was an honorable mention choice on the Western Clover Belt All-Conference team. In the spring, Dusty was a 3-year letter winner as an outfielder on the Stanley Boyd baseball team. His sophomore year, the Orioles were 11-12 on the season, losing in the regional finals to Fall Creek. Dusty batted .255 with 5 RBIs on the season. His junior year, the Orioles were 6-12 on the season, losing to Cadott in the regionals. Dusty batted .242 on the season with 7 RBIs. His senior year, Stanley Boyd was 16-7 on the season. They were regional champions, losing in the sectional semis to Mondovi. Dusty batted .267 with 5 RBIs on the season. After graduation, Dusty enrolled at Augsburg University and joined the Augies football team. His freshman year, the Augies were 4-6 on the season. Dusty, as a backup defensive back and playing special teams, had 6 tackles on the season. His sophomore year, Augsburg was 5-5 on the season. Dusty had 5 tackles on the season. His junior year, Augsburg was 2-8. Dusty, now a starter on defense for the Augies, had 25 tackles and 1 pass interception. His senior year, the Augies were 4-6 on the season. Dusty had 32 tackles, 1 pass interception, and 1 fumble recovery. Dusty graduated from Augsburg University in 2019 with a bachelor's degree in International Business Administration. Today, Dusty is an import analyst for Faro International in the Twin Cities. This position requires receiving, reviewing, and entering custom records and working alongside custom agents for tracing shipments and setting up pre-arrangements with the U.S. Customs. Dusty resides in St. Paul, Minnesota.
Well, there's an interesting
Yeah,
line
it
of
is
work.
international business.
Wow.
And I said, if you ever come back from Mexico or something, you can expect to get your bags checked in those airports. So,
Yeah, right, yeah.
Because
Hmm,
there's
custom.
only certain things you can bring back.
That's
so-
right. That's right. They check them. You bet. Nowadays, especially.
Yes. So.
Yeah, I remember Dusty Spaeth.
Yeah.
He was an excellent defender.
Yeah, excellent receiver too.
Yeah.
So and that game against Lancaster, his touchdown put them up 21-0. Lancaster came all the way back 21-16 on the game. And Lancaster, of course, very fine ball program down there
Yes,
too. But
yes.
That was a heck of a team Stanley Boyd had in
Yes.
2013.
Yes,
So,
it was. Yes, it was. Yes. All right, there we go. Where are they now? And you talk about college football.
Yeah.
And the WIAC. My
Oh.
goodness, they have 4 teams now ranked in the top 15 in the nation.
Yeah.
In
How
Division
about
III.
how about Platteville going into
Yeah.
lacrosse and beating the lacrosse in overtime last week? And that was very, very impressive. I mean, right now, I think of this conference area as Whitewater, Lacrosse, and River Falls as the top 3.
Right.
Well, Platteville has weaseled their way in there. And you can't forget about Oshkosh either.
Right.
Oshkosh, also a fine
Yes.
team this year. So,
Yeah, they only lost to Whitewater by 7.
yeah.
But yeah, Platteville usually is not known for football.
No, they've had some teams over the years. A few years ago, several years ago, they had a kid from Black River Falls as a quarterback, and they had a tremendous passing attack.
Okay.
Yeah, but they come and go. They don't stay with, it's not like a Whitewater or a Lacrosse. They seem to have their few years, and then they go away for a while, and then they come back, So,
Mm-hmm.
but River Falls put 71 on UW Eau Claire. So,
That was a beating.
yeah, that was downright.
Well, there's going to be some good ones coming up this Saturday because you've got Lacrosse at Oshkosh
Yes.
and River Falls at Platteville.
Yes. So, yeah, and it'll be interesting to see how Platteville reacts after that big win over Lacrosse. But if you're going to play somebody rated, it's nice to have them at home.
Yeah.
So,
Yep. Eau Claire is their homecoming this week.
Yeah.
They have Stevens Point.
Okay.
And Whitewater's at Stout.
Okay. So,
But yeah, the Platteville and River Falls right now hold the top spot in the WIAC. Both are 4-0 overall
Yeah.
as they just started the conference season
yeah, they
last
play
week.
a pretty well. Of course, it's only an 8-team conference, so
Yeah.
they only play 7 weeks of a season. So they all play 3 to 4 non-conference games, and they don't get scheduled till almost the 1st of October before their conference takes off.
Last week was their first conference game, so the first weekend in October. All right, speaking of college football, take a look at top games this weekend. Well, we got, what was it, number one?
Was that the Red River Valley thing or whatever?
Number one, Texas.
And number 18, Oklahoma.
Yeah.
I believe that's still played in the Cotton Bowl, or did they move that out to Jerry World now?
Oh, boy, I don't know.
Exactly.
It is in the Cotton Bowl, yes.
Okay. For years, it's been played in the Cotton Bowl, but it's really a cool rivalry. They play at a neutral site, and it's always been a great rivalry. Now they're in 2 different conferences, but.
And Texas, the new number one in the nation after Alabama got beat by Vanderbilt.
Yeah, Alabama coming off that win against Georgia looked like the team, and they go into Vanderbilt. Wow. That made you think that made Vanderbilt's year?
That was not a good look for Alabama.
No.
They dropped all the way to 7.
Yeah, that they really took a hit on that one. So, but that I'll tell you what, the game that really caught my eye, Larry, is number 2 Ohio State at number 3 Oregon.
That's going to be a good one.
Let's see how that is Oregon Big Ten worthy. We'll see. But they've got the Buckeyes out there, and that is a high-powered attack in front of a nutsy crowd out there.
So that's a hard place to play. 6:30 on NBC Saturday night, and then Ole Miss takes on LSU also at 6:30 on Saturday night. And there's another tough place to play in Tiger Stadium.
Yeah, the pit. They always called it the Tiger Pit or whatever. But that is a hard place to play for anybody. So.
And Primetime is playing in Primetime.
Yeah.
He's got Kansas State, number 18 in the nation, coming into Colorado.
They're playing much better. They started slow. Last year they really went downhill. But this year he seems like they've gotten a lot of things credit. They've kept Travis Hunter healthy for one thing.
Right.
And of course Travis. He's in the mix right now as a Heisman. Of course, after 4 weeks, everybody is. But he's still playing both ways, and that nobody has done that since Charles Woodson.
Right.
But he's one guy that isn't a quarterback that at least gets mentioned in the Heisman. So other than that, forget it. So
yeah. All right, that's college football coming up this weekend. And how about Bo Ryan? He's going to be into the Naismith Memorial Basketball Hall of Fame this weekend.
I tell you what, Larry, this guy's record is unbelievable. Let's start off with his career. He started, he was in some small colleges, but he started off as an assistant at Wisconsin, 1976 to 1984 under Bill Cofield and Steve Yoder. Well, then he moved to Platteville, and you talk about putting some place on the map. Was Platteville 1984 to 1999, 352 and 76, 4 NCAA D3 titles, 4 and 8 WIAC championships in that time. And then he went to UWM, and he kind of straightened that program out in the 2 years. They were 30 and 27 over 2 years.
Okay.
And he made it when Bruce Pearl took over, and Bruce Pearl took him to the NCAAs after that. Well, then you went to Wisconsin, 2001 to 2015. 364 and 130, 4 Big Ten championships, 14 NCAA appearances, 2 Final Fours, and, of course, the national runner-up in 2015. Overall coaching record, Larry, 747 wins, 233 losses, 76% winning percentage.
32 seasons he was a collegiate head coach.
Yes, unbelievable.
Yeah, so he goes into the
Hall
of Fame.
This is long overdue, him going into the Naismith.
I mean, he's going in with some big names.
Yeah, I see that.
From the NBA, and all these guys are going in there.
Yeah,
so.
Jerry West going in again. I think this is the 3rd time Jerry West has went in.
I believe so, yeah.
He's going in as a contributor. He went in as a college player, he went in as a professional player, and now he's going in as, of course, front office guy, I guess is what you would say. Which is really neat, and then, a lot of good names on that list, so.
Yeah, that's all happening this weekend. And if you have NBA TV, you can watch it all Friday night and Saturday is when it's or Saturday. Is that right? No, Saturday and Sunday.
It's Friday and Saturday, isn't it?
No, it's Saturday
and Sunday.
Yes.
Yes.
Get my days right here.
Yeah.
All right, NFL football. The Packers got a win. Over the LA Rams out west.
I said they struggled the first, and they came out, played a great third quarter, and then just kind of let up there in the fourth quarter. I don't understand. But
I didn't understand that last drive when they had the ball with 3 minutes. Why you didn't try and at least get a first down?
The first play of that last drive, Jacobs goes for 14 yards. And then the next play, they think they had to pass. And I don't get that.
Right.
Yes, they're stacking the line, but at least get Jacobs,
got
maybe get him
Jacobs.
on the get him on the perimeter. So what if you get one or two? They burn a timeout, or else they, and you left them at way too much
Yes.
time, and you left them with a timeout.
Right.
And so
Yeah, it was scary there.
yeah, I thought so too. And the defense didn't have no answer for the short passing. They
No.
were not getting, they were not blitzing, so they weren't getting no rush. Well, they're in a zone defense. Somebody's going to be open somewhere. They're going to find a spot. So, but thankfully they held them off. So.
Well, they don't have an easy opponent on Sunday as Arizona comes into Lambeau Field.
Arizona coming off a win against the 49ers. And I'll tell you what, Larry, they got this next 4 weeks is going to tell me a lot about the Packers.
Okay.
They have Arizona at home Sunday, and then they host Houston the Sunday after that, go to Jacksonville, and then they have Detroit home before their bye. So if this is, they need to go 3-0, 3-1, 4-0 on this stretch, I think. The Vikings already got two, are still undefeated.
Yeah.
They're two up on everybody
Yeah.
in the division, and they're not showing any signs of slowing down. So,
Right. Yeah.
So.
Yeah, Houston next week. Houston doesn't play well in the grass.
No.
Outside.
And it's going to be colder then too.
Yeah.
So, and Arizona, I don't know. Kyler Murray is a pain to defend.
He is.
So, they're going to have to. That's the guy they got to set. But they seem to have handled him in the past. And once again, he's going to be on grass.
Right.
So maybe that'll slow him down a little bit.
And it's going to be a little cooler on Sunday.
absolutely,
From what I hear.
absolutely.
Won't be the 70s.
Yep. So not going to be indoor like it does
Right.
at home.
Yes,
So, but,
yes.
and quite Arizona caught San Francisco. San Francisco was banged up.
Yeah, and they play tonight again at Seattle.
Yeah, and McCaffrey hasn't played it down all
No.
season. Purdy isn't quite what everybody thought.
Well, without McCaffrey back there,
Yeah, absolutely.
it's a little different story.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And they've had other guys banged up too. Defensively they've been banged up a little bit. So it's but the West is kind of crazy. Seattle's 3-2, and the other three teams are 2-3. So that's a very big game tonight up in Seattle. So
The New York Jets fired their head coach,
Yeah.
Robert Saleh, and now they have the Buffalo Bills Monday night.
so right away the rumors was all on Rodgers.
Well, they all say the owner said that it was his decision
Yeah.
alone.
Yeah.
But you can't tell me that Aaron
Yeah.
Rodgers didn't have some say.
Some input, and it just and Aaron Rodgers had some. You want to put it lightly, he had some input in it because he threw three interceptions against the Vikings on Sunday. So
And from what I heard, I read something that Saleh was going to fire Hackett, his offensive coordinator,
absolutely. And,
earlier.
And you read a lot of articles. There's somebody's always watching the sidelines, and they said the movements between Rodgers and Saleh have not been good. So
No.
so it's and Rodgers, I'll tell you what, he can make or break a coach. I'll tell you, Matt, the Packer coach LaFleur handled him beautifully.
Yeah, he did.
Because and Mike McCarthy did for years too, but towards the end, when Mike McCarthy seemed to lose interest in coaching, he did not handle Rodgers well.
No,
LaFleur handled Rodgers very good considering how young LaFleur was.
Yes.
So and his first head coaching job. So.
And we're finding out that LaFleur's offense does work when it's run.
Yeah, absolutely right. Yeah,
Rodgers didn't like to run it.
Yeah, so no.
All right, I'm going to mention the Neillsville Rec Department has their football Olympics tomorrow afternoon starting at 1 o'clock.
Yeah.
That's open to all kids ages 6 to 13. And Saturday afternoon, it's their third annual Fling Into Fall Disc Golf Tournament. That starts at 3.
Yeah.
That'll be at Schuster Park. And both those activities, there's no cost to
Yep.
participate. For the golf, disc golf, you have to be over 14.
Yes. Yep. That's
get
a little
involved in
different than it was a few years ago. A few years ago, they just will let anybody go in there.
This
but-
is kind of involved with the Autumn Harvest Fest.
yes,
that's going
absolutely.
on
Yeah,
Saturday in
yeah.
Neillsville.
Yeah, the rec department might have their own maybe some other time, but
Yeah.
this is part of Autumn Harvest. And,
Yep.
and but the football Olympics always a fun time up
Oh, yeah.
there. So.
I'll be up there helping out.
Yeah, you see all the high school guys up there helping, and
And you see some kids, they have some talent.
absolutely, you could see some kids that are down the line. You might see
Then
again.
there's some other kids up there that are having fun,
yeah,
which is all right, too.
yeah. It's all about the fun, and
Yes.
I think they all get some kind of a ribbon
Yeah,
or
they get
something too.
a trophy or a little,
You
some
know,
kind
so
of a.
It's what it's all about.
That's
so
right.
It's all about the participation.
There you
so
go.
so.
All right, so again, high school football tomorrow night, Regis at Neillsville Granton on 92.7 WPKG, and Eau Claire North at Marshfield on 92.3 WOSQ. So We're getting into the playoff pictures for all the sports in the fall.
I think we're going to have one nice Friday night yet. So
Yes.
I can't guarantee you the last week, but this Friday night looks good yet. So
Yes, we'll take it. That's Two Guys on Sports. I'm Larry Hazer.
I'm Dick Olson.
We'll talk to you again next week.